My name is Kia Lola, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I graduated from the University of Memphis, and I received a job in Calhoun, Georgia, which is the middle of nowhere, about an hour north, and decided that I needed to live in the city. Well, back in the day, I was over 200 pounds, and my friend suggested doing jiu-jitsu. That ended up becoming a major addiction for me because I started losing weight, and I'm plainly a competitive person anyway. That led to Muay Thai, led to MMA, and the next thing I know, it's half of my life. It was a lifestyle change. I've always been interested in martial arts. Even I remember being in middle school and just asking my mom, please, can we get in martial arts, please? Any of them, I don't care, you know. Of course, back then we couldn't afford it, so it wasn't until college that I actually got into a course. Yeah. Took a while. You know, just like most people, I do want to go pro. I have my own career as a photographer, so it kind of is a pleasure type of thing where wherever the journey takes me, however long it takes me, that's not really a huge concern, though I would like to go pro within 2 years. After that, wherever that takes me, whichever promotion, just whatever works out the best financially and then schedule-wise. It varies state by state, but in Georgia, I believe you just have to have at least 2 to 3 amateur wins. Obviously, I think that you should have a significant amount more than that. I think that you should have a large record, but also have titles under your belt and have traveled across the U.S., if not internationally. That way you can experience the variation in martial arts, say Ohio being big in wrestling, or jiu-jitsu really being a big thing in Atlanta. So I think that's something that needs to be the solid foundation before you go pro. So amateurs, they don't get paid unless they get sponsors. The promotion can never pay you. They have a limited amount of fights. They are basically trying to carve their way into being professional. There's a lot of opportunity, but it's just the financial difference that makes the big, change. And once you go pro in one, you're pro in all. So if I went pro in MMA, I'm a pro boxer. I'm a pro all of that. Yeah. Yeah. Right, and they changed the rules too. So if you're an amateur, say in Georgia, this was different. My first fight was supposed to be Mississippi. I didn't have to wear shin guards, no headgear. I could, I think, elbow on the ground and everything. Like, it was basically pro rules. But in Georgia, you have to have 3 fights where you wear headgear, shin guards, a dual arch mouth guard. Like, they're very meticulous about that. I cornered one of my good friends in, I think it was Macon, Georgia. It may have been a little bit further south than that, but it was essentially like an arena, and then there was a barn in the back, and that's where the fighters were warming up. I mean, it was interesting. I've never been in a situation like that, but I'm used to like NFC, Lotus Muay Thai, and a little higher level, clean, professional environment for sure. I've seen people go pro in a year, which is crazy to me. I've seen people take 5 years. It's up to them how much time they can dedicate to training, how quickly they adapt to the game. Some people take 2 years, or they're kind of feeling it out, so it just totally depends on the person. I think that this past year was definitely an aha moment for me. I started working with specific people that have helped really bring my game up to par. And I started thinking about my Muay Thai and my Jiu-Jitsu in a way that's much more analytical, just more meticulous, and kind of building on the counter-striking and trying to play it more like a chess game versus being reactive. So I think there are plenty more aha moments to happen, but that was a definite one. I think the intermediate level would be Invicta, and that leading into either Bellator or UFC. Both of those are the pinnacle of MMA, so I would be thrilled with either of them. So let's see, was it 2016? I traveled to Florida, and I was able to solidify an IKF World Championship. I had 2 fights to get that, and I would definitely like to go back eventually and possibly do the open part of that. I don't know, last year I got my first TKO. That was really exciting for me. I felt like that was kind of a implementing that knowledge and seeing like real results, timing and everything. And then this year I'm hoping to kind of have the biggest portion of that, the biggest accomplishment. So February 1st, I'll be traveling to Missouri, where I'll be trying out for the UMAF Team USA. And that's the collaboration between the UFC and the Olympics to test the grounds for MMA becoming an Olympic sport. So if I could be a part of that, I would be absolutely thrilled that there's an opportunity to fight in Australia, Bahrain, South Africa, etc. So if I get that, that would be amazing. Studio will never shut down. I will never stop photographing, first of all. But honestly, the long-term goal for my studio, Lola Land Photography, is to have 3 locations, maybe more, and to have other photographers working under me. That way I can hyper-focus on what I'm really passionate about, and that's fitness photography. Like, I love photographing the MMA events. I love photographing the athletes themselves. Getting the opportunity to photograph Bigfoot Silva and Douglas Lima and people like that, that's my bread and butter. That's what I like doing. So that portion would never stop, but I would probably be contracting out more individuals. Fighting is not a forever career. I honestly can't see myself commentating. Definitely not gonna get into pro wrestling. It's not my thing. So I honestly would just fall back on photography. Again, that's never gonna fall out of my life anyway. I always kind of plan on having multiple streams of income regardless, so, you know, that's always gonna be there. But, you know, if, say, I get to the point where I can't do MMA anymore, like, your body can't take that forever, you know? Eventually I wanna have a family, and I'm gonna be 40 years old, so I'm not gonna be in the ring doing the same things. But you could always continue to do Muay Thai drilling. You can always continue to do jiu-jitsu until your ripe old age. Like, that's not something that can be prohibited by age. So this is Siddhartha Gautama. It's the starving Buddha. So normally people are used to seeing the fat Buddha. That's more in China. This is something you would see. It's an actual statue or sculpture in India. So the story being that he came from riches and then saw suffering and death for the first time in his life. So he left that, but he went to the polar opposite, which was starving, living off a grain of rice each day and not hardly drinking anything, and he became skin and bones. Well, that's not healthy either. Being rich and wealthy and not understanding suffering is not good, but neither is the polar opposite. So to me, this is about finding that middle path. Everybody needs that balance. They have to kind of go through the extremes of life to kind of figure out what their middle path is. The Om, and then I got a tattoo on my back while I was in Cambodia. I won't say that there's a deep story to this one, but this one was more me traveling through Southeast Asia, you know, training Muay Thai in Thailand and training Khmer boxing in Cambodia. So I got a Buddhist mantra down my back just to kind of commemorate that trip and, you know, play into the training and all of that. Getting started in it. I mean, the weight loss was kind of hard initially. It was coming from 200 pounds. So I got down to like 175, and then I kind of hovered there for a while. And I knew I really wanted to get into this, but, you know, starting at 175 pounds was not the place to be for fighting. So that was really exciting, but it was a definite challenge. It took probably 2 years to honestly get down to a really healthy weight. Yeah, after my first fight, things kind of fell into place. Like, you get really panicked that first time, but after that, you have this sense of clarity, like, okay, I'm not gonna die. You know, I know what I'm doing, it's okay, just calm down.
Okay, now, I'm going to do this comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
With the pro wrestling thing, there's probably dozens of promotions and promoters that just get people to say, hey, you know, book you for a show.
Mm-hmm. It's not gonna.
You're fine.
Okay.
You want to hold them up to the camera so they can be seen?
Come here. You want to be loved on so much.
Yeah. You always have bonus stuff.
He's
there we
funny.
go. Who is this character?
Oh, this is the attention-seeking cat Cooey. And I have another one, Koki. I'm sure he'll make an appearance sometime. Oh, there he goes.
Yes. Call that bonus footage.
Yes.
Oh, and you look right up at it.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Bryce. It's my son.
Oh.
So let's get back over here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, you know, one of the things that will always be offered forever if you become the brand that you know, some fighters have is acting.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's always room for a good action hero.
That's true. That's true. I had thought about getting into a little bit of, I guess, stunt work. Atlanta's the city for it.
Stunt work or acting. Now, there's a difference here. You know, so would you?
I haven't done acting since middle school, like plays. So the experience is not really there. If the door opened to that, cool. But I think stunt work would kind of be that leg in.
Take one step to the right, folks. Okay, and there we go. So.
Go away.
How long did that take?
You know, honestly, I'm not sure. I did it good. I did it with a bamboo stick, not like a regular tattoo gun, where they tap it on you.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Everybody says it's terrible, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. I don't know if maybe my adrenaline was going a little bit or whatever, but you're like outside and there's essentially, it's a group of martial artists. They do Khmer boxing too, and it's a Buddhist kind of religious group. So I guess it was very taken in by the environment, so it didn't really bother me to have the bamboo tattoo going.
So you had your mind was someplace else while I was going.
Yeah.
It was just the experience as
Yeah.
a whole.
Yeah, no, there was a whole blessing ceremony, a prayer portion and everything, so it was a whole ordeal.
Okay. Did you get any of that on camera? Or?
I have pictures.
You have pictures?
Yeah.
You should have got somebody get some video.
Yeah, I know.
Probably
I was traveling alone, so I had to rely on somebody from the actual group to take a few snapshots.
So what brought that little journey along?
I've been wanting to go to Thailand. Yeah, I've been wanting to go to Thailand for years. Just probably every fighter ever wants to train Muay Thai in Thailand. You know, it's the homeland, that kind of thing. But once I got there, you know, we traveled to Japan first. My friend Sherry came with me, and then I flew alone to Thailand. Traveled by boat down the Mekong River to Laos. That was a 2-day journey, and then from Laos went to Cambodia, back to Bangkok.
Right. Got you some world traveling there.
Yeah.
I need a street fighter or something. One last thing I'd like for you to do, I need you to stand next to Sasha. I know I just named your...
Sasha.
What I want here is I just want to make a little commercial for your studio. You just look at me like, what are you doing? All right, so you're next to Sasha, and tell me, what is her purpose? First, I guess we should start with, where are we?
Well, this is a portion of my studio, Lola Land Photography. My boudoir Atlanta is in the back portion. This is where I do all my headshots and the fashion shots and whatnot. So Sasha, as you have named her, she is so that I can set up my lights dependent upon whatever my client wants. That way they come in and they don't have to wait 15 minutes for me to set my lights and figure out what I'm doing. I can go ahead and get the basics with her and then jump right in with the client.
So Sasha serves her purpose. She is there to make sure that it is all good.
Yep.
With the lighting and everything. We're going to take
My homie.
Yeah, see, look at it. She's just slightly taller than it was.
Yeah,
I guess she's,
yeah, she's
on her
pretty tall.
toes.
Yeah,
Now that I'm looking at her feet.
we're about the same size.
Sorry to pointing that out. Look at that. So this will work double duty. We can see from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
We can see Sasha. I know I've just created a name for her.
I'll keep it.
And we have a little
Cats.
cast.
Yeah.
I guess I'll make sure that left or right studio.
Yeah. Oh, it's all torn apart. I literally just put it together.
Oh, it's all right.
Yeah, I had taken all of this stuff with me to the weigh-ins.
Yeah, I didn't feel like going through all that, man. It's far too much. So now we have it. Miss Golden Girl, thank you for your time and effort in this interview.
Thank you.
It's fun.